Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm State Park and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are in the book of First Chronicles, which, like Kings and Samuel, was originally written as one book, and then when translated into Greek, became two books. And we are in that exciting book of First Chronicles. Exciting being a little bit of a joke because the first 9 chapters are names, and we are up now into some of the stories. And I just recorded an entire chapter before I realized that the recording was not working the way it was supposed to be working. So maybe I'll do better on these names the second time through. Yes, I did just say that there's stories, but it is still Chronicles. There are still names. So the book of Chronicles, the people or person who wrote the book are very concerned about worship, and that worship be done right, that God be worshiped, and that the worship be maintained as rightly as possible. So they really appreciate David, who had a very big heart for worshiping God. David made some mistakes, more than one, but his desire was to worship God and to kind of get that part right. And so David and Solomon are collectively, they were kings over the entire country of Israel, both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, one kingdom. As we read through here, the chronicle writer makes it sound like, oh yes, and everybody was totally in agreement all along. Well, it wasn't quite that neat and tidy. It was a little bit of a thing. So today is actually a little bit of a flashback before David becomes king, the people who were coming to him, and more names of where people, who they were and where they were coming from. We'll see if I do a better job of reading them now that I've just read the entire chapter. We'll read it again. So, First Chronicles chapter 12. The following are those who came to David at Ziklag while he could not move about freely because of Saul, son of Kish. They were among the mighty warriors who helped him in war. They were archers. They could shoot arrows and sling stones with either the right hand or the left. There's a wonderful book by Malcolm Gladwell called David and Goliath, and it talks about how if a person was able to sling stones, it was like shooting a gun. When it says that David swung the stone and it sunk into Goliath's forehead, it sunk into his head, that's pretty accurate actually, because the amount of speed that they could use to sling the stones and the accuracy that they could sling the stones with made them a very deadly weapon. So we have archers and stone slingers who could sling stones with either the right hand or their left. They were Benjaminites, Saul's kindred. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, both sons of Shemaiah of Gibeah, also Jeziel and Peler, sons of Azmaveth, Berakah, Jehu of Anathoth, Ishmaiah of Gibeon, a warrior among the 30 and a leader over the 30, Jeremiah, Jahaziel, Jehonan, Jozabad of Gedera, Eluzai, Jeremoth, Bealiah, Shemariah, Shephatiah, the Haruphite, Elkanah, Shia, Azarel, Ezer, and Jashobeam, the Korathites, and Joelah, and Zebadiah, sons of Jeroham of Gedor. Verse 8. From the Gadites, so that was one of the tribes across the Jordan. From the Gadites there went over to David at the stronghold in the wilderness mighty and experienced warriors, expert with shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and who were swift as gazelles on the mountains. Ezer the chief, Obadiah the second, Eliab third, Mishmana fourth, Jeremiah fifth, Attai sixth, Eliel seventh, Jehanan eighth, Elzabad ninth, Jeremiah 10th, Machbanai 11th. These Gadites were officers of the army, at least equal to 100, and the greatest to 1,000. These are the men who crossed the Jordan in the first month when it was overflowing all its banks, and put to flight all those in the valleys to the east and to the west. Verse 16. Some Benjaminites and Judahites came to the stronghold to David. David went out to meet them and said to them, "If you have come to me in friendship to help me, then my heart will be knit to you. But if you have come to betray me to my adversaries, though my hands have done no wrong, then may the God of our ancestors see and give judgment." Then the Spirit came to Amasai, the chief of the 30, and he said, "We are yours, O David, and with you, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace to you, and peace to the one who helps you, for your God is the one who helps you." And so this word peace is actually the word shalom, and shalom means much, much more than peace. And whenever I see the word peace, I think of Tom, who was one of my early followers. He and his wife Peggy, hello Tom and Peggy, are awesome people, and Tom loves to share shalom with people. And shalom means peace, but it also means success and prosperity and wholeness and fullness and health and rightness. It's this wonderful full word that is so much more than just peace. Peace, prosperity, health, wholeness, rightness, peace. So peace to you, peace, peace to you, and peace to the one who helps you, for your God is the one who helps you. Just such a wonderful little prediction or prophecy there, and just a little shout out to Tom and Peggy, and we do appreciate you, and peace to you guys. Then David received them and made them officers of his troops. Verse 19. Some of the Manassites deserted to David when he came with the Philistines for the battle against Saul. Yet he did not help them, for the rulers of the Philistines took counsel and sent him away, saying, "He will desert to his master Saul at the cost of our heads." As he went to Ziklag, these Manassites deserted to him. Adnah, Jozabad, Jediael, Michael, Jozabad, Elihu, and Zilithai, chiefs of the thousands in Manasseh. They helped David against the band of raiders, for they were all warriors and commanders in the army. Indeed, from day to day, people kept coming to David to help him until there was a great army, like an army of God. So flashback to before King David was King David, people were coming to him and joining with him. Verse 23, these are the numbers of the divisions of the armed troops who came to David in Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul over to him, according to the word of the Lord. So they had a big party, and lots of people came from all over the country to crown David king. The people of Judah, bearing shield and spear, numbered 6,800 armed troops. Of the Simeonites, mighty warriors, 7,100. Of the Levites, 4,600. Jehoiada, leader of the house of Aaron, and with him 3,700. Zadok, a young warrior, and 22 commanders from his own ancestral home. Of the Benjaminites, the kindred of Saul, 3,000, of whom the majority had continued to keep their allegiance to the house of Saul. But this is saying that once Saul had passed away, they came with everybody else to crown David king. Verse 30, of the Ephraimites, 20,800 mighty warriors, notables in their ancestral houses. Of the half-tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, who were expressly named to come and make David king. Of Issachar, those who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs, and all their kindred under their command. Of Zebulun, 50,000 seasoned troops, equipped for battle, with all the weapons of war to help David with singleness of purpose. Of Naphtali, 1,000 commanders, with whom there were 37,000 armed with shield and spear. Of the Danites, 28,600 equipped for battle. Of Asher, 40,000 seasoned troops ready for battle. Of the Reubenites and Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh from beyond the Jordan, 120,000 armed with all the weapons of war. Verse 38, all these, warriors arrayed in battle order, came to Hebron with full intent to make David king over all Israel. Likewise, all the rest of Israel were of a single mind to make David king. They were there with David for 3 days, eating and drinking, for their kindred had provided for them, and also their neighbors from as far away as Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali came bringing food on donkeys, camels, mules, and oxen, abundant provisions of meal, cakes of figs, clusters of raisins, wine, oil, oxen, and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. So joy because David is being proclaimed king. Chapter 13. David consulted with the commanders of the thousands and of the hundreds, with every leader. David said to the whole assembly of Israel, "If it seems good to you, and if it is the will of the Lord our God, let us send abroad to our kindred who remain in all the land of Israel, including the priests and the Levites and the cities that have the pasture lands, that they may come together to us. Then let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we did not turn to it in the days of Saul." The whole assembly agreed to do so, for the thing pleased all the people. Verse 5. So David assembled all Israel from the Sihor of Egypt to Lebohamath to bring the ark of God from Kiriath Jearim. And David and all Israel went up to Baalah, that is Kiriath Jearim, which belongs to Judah, to bring up from there the ark of God, the Lord, who was enthroned on the cherubim, which is called by his name. They carried the ark of God on a new cart from the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio were driving the cart. David and all Israel were dancing before God with all their might, with songs and lyres and harps and tambourines and cymbals and trumpets. When they came to the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen shook it. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah. He struck him down because he put out his hand to the ark, and he died there before God. David was angry because the Lord had burst out against Uzzah. So that place is called Paris Uzzah to this day. David was afraid of God that day. He said, "How can I bring the ark of God into my care?" So David did not take the ark into his care into the city of David. He took it instead to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. The ark of God remained with the household of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months, and the Lord blessed the household of Obed-Edom and all that he had. So it feels weird. Why should touching the ark cause somebody to be killed? But first off, they weren't doing it right. And the writer of Chronicles is very concerned that worship be done right, must be done correctly. And putting it on an ox is not how they're supposed to be transporting the ark of the covenant. Secondly, what was I just... They put out their hand and they died. Oh, the fact that David got angry. And I think it's a good reminder. We are allowed to get angry at God. God is big enough. He can handle all of our emotion, all of our issues, all of whatever we throw at him. We're allowed to be mad at God. And we're allowed to say we don't like this. We don't understand this. We don't want this to be the thing that's happening. But when you get mad at God, that means you're turning toward God and that you are saying that he is there. And that is an act of faith. So it's okay to get mad. David did it. He got quite mad at God. And then he left it there basically where it had come to a stop. Tomorrow we will, or next time I do my session, I believe we will read about the ark finally making it all the way to Jerusalem, but that is probably enough for today. Anyway, just to think about, you're allowed to be mad at God. And what was the other thing that I just said? Oh my goodness. And that we do want to try to do things right as much as we can. And David, for as sinful as he was, did desire to do things right. And I'm sure I was saying some other thing, but that's okay. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you again next time. Thank you so much for being here.